This week, Steve, we're here to check out Scars Above. This is a third-person action shooter kind of exploration game, and, well, it puts you into some weird extraterrestrial situations, that's for sure. It gets quite difficult as time goes on, but that's a little bit later on in the conversation. What was your first impression with this one?
I have to say, when we saw the trailer, I was looking forward to this game, and I have to say, it doesn't disappoint. You're on a strange world, you wake up, and you're out to explore this beautiful landscape. And graphically, it's not too bad either. I'm kind of enjoying the graphics in this game. How about yourself?
Yeah, that kind of exploration is definitely... It feels to be the lean of this. You're in this strange kind of area of this world, but there's a lot of these alien kind of creatures running around, and it's a very, very hostile place, and that's where a lot of the fun comes from. There is little bits borrowed from other games here and there. There's the save system that's more like something from a Souls game, where you have very few save points, few and far between, but that will allow you to refresh, bring all of your resources back, and it also respawns the enemies in the area. So it's something that we see more and more as time goes on now after these Souls games, but I think it fits into this game really well, because what it does is it rewards you for exploring. And as you go through and explore different chambers, you'll find ways to link back to places you had been prior. These shortcuts open up, and that's something that can be really satisfying. It gives you a reward as the game goes on, and it kind of opens up more doors, more areas to kind of break into. And there's another connection to Metroidvania. That's probably the strangest connection here with this game, but just the idea that now I have a fire beam, I can open up new doors. Sometimes you will backtrack through older areas, and that will again allow you to explore kind of all over again. There's an interesting kind of mix to this game, and I found it was never really boring, but there were certain sections where, oh man, I could have used a save tower somewhere in the middle. But that's the kind of punishing game loop that has me coming back around for more, because you get that triumph when you break down the super hard to kill boss fights, especially earlier on. You get this huge sense of relief. Now I have accomplishment. I can now push forward.
I totally agree. I found it very addictive, and I died so many times. And I will just point as well, a lot of the enemies are spiders. So anything with legs on it is coming towards you. But like you said, the issue I had was I was set on normal to start off with. And you get to the boss fight, you die, you have to go back to your checkpoint, and you have to kind of go through all that kind of part of that level again. And I have to sort of say, I changed it to rookie just to sort of progress through the story. And it didn't really make a lot of difference to me. The bosses were still very, very hard, and you will come across them quite frequent. And the idea is that you scan them with your sensor, and then you have to get the right elements, whether it's the ice or the fire, on its weak spots to take it down. But it's so hard, man.
It can be really hard.
Because you also have to use your Kreider gun to form ice on the water, because sometimes it could be contaminated, and that will kill you as well to get across from point A to point B.
Oh, it is a very harsh world, and I do like that you scan everything, though, and that's a means of leveling you up, so you don't have to sit somewhere and just, crush enemies, reload, crush enemies. There's no grind in that capacity. It's all given to you for exploring. You find little orbs on the ground, you absorb them, and that gives you your experience to level up your character further. I like that as well, because there was no point in this game where I felt I'm stuck, other than with a combat challenge, and that's totally okay with me. I have to point out some negatives here, because there are some. The negatives mainly... My biggest one is that a lot of the elements that I've seen in this game are kind of bits and borrowed from other games. And although they come together in a package like this very well, it's something that I've already done before. I've done the elemental thing, I've done the exploration Metroidvania thing, but then again, that kind of describes every video game I've ever played, so I'm not sure if I hold this one too negatively in that regard. More distressing to most gamers is going to be a little bit of the tech issue. We are playing on a Series X console, and there's really bad frame rate when it comes to some of the cinematics. Some things don't quite load right, and you get little graphical bugs here and there. Nothing game breaking, but certainly negative.
Relying on us. We're dreamers and skeptics.
Some graphical issues aside, and all of these bits and borrowed pieces I actually really appreciated, I have a bit of a split opinion on this game. Although it was a lot of fun, and I do enjoy running through some of these challenging parts, it didn't really do much to stand apart on its own. It doesn't exactly have its own identity, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be talking about this one years to go in the future, although I had a great time. So it's a little bit of a mixed message there, but I think this is about a 7 out of 10. It is going to land well with a lot of people, but is it memorable? That becomes the question.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on what you just said there, Scott. I had some issues myself with the cinematic cutscenes and some graphical issues. Like you said, we've just played Returnal and Dead Space, and obviously another game I play quite a bit on is Outriders, which is the elements again, that kind of thing. I do say they did do a good job on this story. The voice acting again, I accommodate them, it's really good. And for the fun I've had, I'm giving this an 8 out of 10.
Am I? What was that creature?